here. 250 for the conference. Hey everybody, look who I found.
Yeah. That was really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
That was intense.
Nice.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
Well,
How's everybody doing?
Doing
This-
good. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'm good. This one over here had to get fancy the last time with Jason, so I'm like, I can't just say, okay, welcome everybody. Here we're here. We got Rob. I wanted to make Rob feel special too, because if he saw that one and then joins mine, and it's just like, well, here he is.
Y'all setting this bar awful high.
I know.
I don't think I can beat that.
I was about to say, what are you going to do to follow that one up?
Yeah.
I think it's my
How's
turn
everybody
next.
going?
I'm not sure what we're gonna do there. That's gonna be in trouble.
We've already got 34 folks on here. Welcome, everybody.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Welcome. Rob.
Hey,
What
man.
is up, man?
It's been a blast. It's
Yeah.
catching up from Hive Life and everything. The connections that came out of that was just incredible. Oh yeah, yeah. That's where we do all of our prototyping. That's where we print all of our frame scrapers and all that stuff. That was basically where that started. No, I learned that lesson. You could ask my mom. I actually 5 years ago or so caught a graphics card on fire in her house and went running out of the door with it and threw it in the front yard. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not mining anymore. Like,
that is hilarious.
yeah. So nope, not this time.
That is hilarious, man. I don't even. Oh man, and see, Rob, you even gotta gotta one up me and have the mug.
Yeah. Well,
Goodness.
my other one was used, so I just grabbed the one from the conference. I had to represent.
I'm just gonna act like
Pinky's out.
right.
Yeah.
Pinky, you got to do here. I can't do that.
See, look, Greg and I are matching. What are you doing here? Greg and I are matching.
Okay.
We're repping the conference.
Hang on.
Oh, okay.
I hope there was like dead stink bugs or something in there. You didn't even
Right.
wipe out. Just
I was
pour your
just, like,
drink in there and
plant
swallow
water.
up
He just
protein.
drunk over there. Oh man. No, oh, okay. I
All
just
right.
got delivered the right mug.
Thanks, Lori.
Yeah, she's in the chat.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
And she's herding the dogs out of the door.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's
So
great.
I know I have questions here tonight, but we've got 36 people now already. I know. Well, let's see here. Who wants to start asking Rob some questions?
Oh,
Well, it's your
man.
channel. You shoot.
All right. So, man, and so I met Rob at the Hive Life, and that was, I mean, we could talk about that for the next 11 months until the next one, and then we're going to talk about that one for 12 months then. But Rob here, so for those that do not know Rob, he has Lorob Bees. He makes an awesome vaporizer.
I have one.
Oxalic acid vaporizer.
Bam.
Bam, look at that.
Yeah.
I wish I had one that I could hold. I wish I did. And there's a little joke there, that's why we're laughing. I just wish that I had one that I could hold. But I was lucky enough that I was able to meet Rob at that conference and chatted a little bit. Just, for those that are new to, you, how, like, what was that driving force there that, led you to, that decision? Well, I got to make a vape gun.
So it was semi-natural. I always like experimenting with my hives. A couple of us have gone off on my crazy tangents that I've done with my bees personally. But that being said, part of that, it came down to I needed something to treat my bees. I was lent one from somebody, and I had a pan type at the time, and I was like, I don't want to afford now our competitors. It was just way too expensive. And I was like, I think I can make one. And then I spent way more than that making our first one, but then it was fun at that point. I really enjoyed it. So that was kind of where it was born. And I really just made myself one. It was never a plan to sell them, but there was a need. So we kind of followed through.
Right.
I treated 50 hives already, but mine keeps getting clogged after up to 4 to 5 hives. What am I doing wrong? Okay. So follow-up question. It depends if you're going through the bottom board into the box. Sometimes you can hit a frame if you're in the box. So it may not be a coincidence with like every 4 treatments, because generally speaking, actually, every time that the vaporizer has done its treatment, it passes that 400 mark. It gets into like the 450s or so. By that time, it's out of the hive. You're really cleaning everything out of that stem. It's not like it'll have a hard blockage or anything like that. So I'd be curious to see if you're treating up a little bit too high, if you're hitting some of those boxes, if it replicates, on a specific box each time you treat, something like that. It could also be just a bit too cold outside or something. So, feel free to reach out, sidebar, about that. I'd love to get that squared away if it persists. Maybe give you some more tips in that regard, but yeah, I would definitely try and figure out some sort of pattern other than just 4 or 5 hives, if it's specific hives or something in that regard.
Rob, I got a question for you. Follow up on that.
Shoot.
How do you clean what do you recommend to clean it?
Oh, okay. So I learned, again, I experiment all kind of crazy with mine. So with the Apame adapter plates that we sold, we no longer sell them because prices went up. Total different sidebar. I personally would take the unit out. The Apame adapter plates are steel, so the heat transfers out of the copper really quick, so the stem cools, blah, blah, blah. It leads to clogging every 2 or 3 hives, almost guaranteed. And it's basically just with those adapter plates. So what I instruct people to do is to take one of those click torch, like torch lighters you can get from like a gas station or something like that, and just heat up just the end of that stem. And you'll see it actually, if you do have a hard plug in there, a clog, it'll actually shoot that little piece out. So it's an instant way to get it undone. You have your respirator on. There's nothing that's not safe about that. You're not treating your bees at that temperature with fire. So there's no damage to be done there. But you just heat up just the tip, and then it stops you from having to drill a hole in it or, ream it with a drill bit and risk getting something stuck, and then you're not treating your bees that day. So yeah, that's what I do.
What about the actual vaporizer? If it gets clogged up, like if it gets the oxalic acid stuck in the tip, this happened to me a few times. What do you do for that?
That's what I'm saying. The vaporizer itself,
Okay.
I actually take that click torch and heat up just the end of it. And be it if there's, I stuck it in propolis in a hole or what, whatever's in there, it's going to melt out because, well, it's fire. And I've had great success with that, but you don't need a lot of heat. You just kind of click that thing on, touch it. I like the torch ones because it's pretty resistant to wind, and that works for me. But I do it on just the tip of the vaporizer. No need to heat the whole bowl like that, just to get a hard clog out.
Okay.
Elf in the room. Treating during winter. Yes, no, why not? So it depends on your area. So I always tell people to talk to their local guys and what they're kind of treating to see the patterns and that kind of stuff. Personally, I do treat during the winter when we're above 50 degrees or so. I'm in Maryland, so I don't really have those crazy cold for long months, like a lot of us on here. So it's pretty forgiving in that part. The reason you do that is oxalic acid is more potent when you don't have any brood that's capped in the hive, because oxalic acid doesn't penetrate those cappings. So it's really just a mentality when you're gauging when to treat and how many treatments and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Melissa here, guys. When you were new beekeepers, did y'all treat? So I tell you, when I started, everybody like drilled into my brain. They were like, you got to treat, you got to treat, you got to treat. So I just started out treating. So
East of Baltimore.
Yeah, anyway. I've changed from my initial like treatment regimen. I've like changed that through the years, but yeah, I have from the get go. So yeah.
What do you think, Greg? That's a good question for Greg.
I keep trying to my internet here is just lagging behind there, so I apologize there.
No, that's okay.
A couple things I wanted to jump on there, Rob, real quick is I can usually do about 20 to 25 singles before I even have to think about cleaning out that vaporizer. And every single time it's just, where I'm pushing that stem into the landing board on a 4-way, there's always junk. There's always that's just what it is. There's junk in there. What works the best for me is just to keep a bottle of water with me. And when I start to see that cap start to blow up or push out off the pot, I just pour water right in that bowl. It bubbles it up, steams it, shoots it right out. When I have clear water coming through, I'm good to go. Takes 2 seconds. Works works out really good. And we really are doing a lot of the most amount of treatments right around winter solstice, and that seems to be for us. I think that's really going to help. Or in times where we're really broodless, that really seems to help. And I think that third or that most recent question about treating and not treating, boy, that's a whole sob story we could talk about some other time. If you check out some of the if you go to the Contrary Beekeeper Show podcast and some of our videos on our channel at Nature's Image Farm, we kind of intimately go into detail on that. One episode you might check out on the Contrary Beekeeper Show podcast is treatment free and my dead bees. And we kind of go into that in detail. But we started off going down a road where we were going to let bees do what bees do. And that works to a certain extent, but we had an extremely low survival rate. And of course, we keep propagating those genes every single year. But what we're noticing is we're not getting any kind of significant gains, but we're getting tremendous loss. And running this as a business, you just can't absorb 70 or 80% loss to try to get the honeybee to evolve in some short window of time. So we try to do other things to help reduce how the mite affects the honeybee. So I hope that answers that question.
So Greg, I do want to add in there about the water piece with cleaning the vaporizer. So something to be mindful of is the heating element really doesn't play that well with water itself. It'll take a little bit of abuse, but I have had some cases where people have stuck the whole end in water to try and really clean out the outside of it. And it at the end of the day is using electricity, essentially shorting, even though it's not shorting out, but that's it's like a toaster basically. So just for people to be mindful when they do that. Sometimes the easier piece, actually JC's Bees recommended this one. He just fills a cap full of water and then does like a test treatment into the air, and that seems to work for him. So water is great, but they have to be mindful of not getting it on the heater element when they can avoid it.
So don't dunk it in a 5-gallon bucket is what you're saying.
I've had that phone call.
Hey Rob, about the vaporizer, I accidentally used it as a wheel chalk, and I wanted to cool it down quick so I could stick it on my lap on the truck home. So I just dunked it in a 5-gallon bucket, and for some reason, it's not working.
I mean, I really don't ask too many questions when we work on units. I prefer for people to have workable units. I always work with people. But yeah, so there's a line to every one of those, limit to every rule, I guess. So Dave's got a question here about respirators. So I personally run a 3M respirator with organic vapor cartridges. I don't resell them. I don't see the point in it. I just point people to Amazon. That's been the cheapest that I can find them. So I just point people over there. I like the quick disconnect. It's what fits my face nicely. I get a decent seal on it, a good seal in all regard. And yeah, I like it because when I step away from the bees, I don't have to fight to get the thing off. I can just kind of click it down and be able to talk, when I'm not treating. So that's what I recommend. It's always 3M and the pink cartridges.
What
I
are you
was just
using,
going to say
Brian?
that's the pink. Yeah, same.
Pink,
It's
pink.
probably the same exact setup. Because I was
Bruce?
going to say I think it's the pink.
Bruce, what are you using? Are you just holding your breath real long?
For
when
what?
when you use oxalic acid, what respirator are you using?
I've got I'm doing something a little different, so I got to be careful. I use it's called a RZ. It is an organic. It's like a mask, but it's got a filter on the inside. It's much more comfortable to me, and it does have the filter is a organic. It's good for organic acid vapors, and I haven't had any problems with that. But I've had people just ream me on my channel when I've showed that to people. So, but it works fine. It looks like it looks like a mesh mask, like you can see like people wear now with COVID and stuff. But inside it does have a filter. And I can't, you don't smell the organic. I mean, it does not affect you. I think it's probably, 3M to me is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
With my face, with my everything in my glasses and everything, it just doesn't work very well for me. But it's that's what most people use, and so
yeah.
I
mean, that's what we recommend. But if you would know right off the bat if you had OA,
yeah,
if you're taking a breath of it. I'd hate to say that I've taken breaths of it, but I'm around the vaporizers enough where like you clean them in the shop or whatever. So like, I will always recommend the respirators, but I do think Bruce would know if he had adverse effects.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have done some treatments without it and taken a whiff before, and it
hurts.
Yeah,
I don't recommend it. You got to have some safety stuff, guys.
Yeah, it's
you really need
not
to.
what you want to do. So if
the big thing is organic vapor rating, and believe it or not, even the Harbor Freight has the filters on that are for organic.
Are they really? I didn't know that.
Vapor. They're fantastic.
Organic acid vapors. Yeah.
I've got about $13 in them. I buy 3 or 4 at a time. Throw them in the truck.
That's awesome. I'll have to check them out because I point people to when they try to power our units. They're like, "Hey, Rob, I have an out yard. I have to power the thing. It's 120 volt, 3-prong plug. How do I do that?" And I'm like, the past 3 years or so, I've run these units on a Harbor Freight 750 watt inverter. I think I picked it up on sale for like $50 or something, $60, and it's great. I didn't need to go shop a name brand or whatever. Like, it runs that vaporizer perfectly, and it's great. We're 12, but I light season.
You want to Rob? You want to read the question there in case someone's listening back to this later?
Do you only use oxalic acid to treat? I have some top bar hives and struggle to find an effective treatment. I now have a vape which works well, but I got into it late season. I was hit hard with DWV. Yeah, deformed wing virus. By the time you have deformed wing virus, that hive is in extremely poor shape. I mean, you're gonna struggle to revive that hive if you can. And in all honesty, I've been there. I've been through it. That's why I advocate so hard for treating of some sort. So I personally do run only oxalic acid. Is it ideal? No. But I know that I will find the flaws in it because we sell vaporizers, so that's just what I do, and it's what works for me. I know a lot of guys who that doesn't work for them in their area, which is why I instruct people to speak locally, talk to some guys what works in their area. I know some guys that use our vaporizers during the broodless times in the winter time because that's when it's most effective, and then during other parts of the year they'll basically use formic or something to that regard. I just don't have any personal experience with that. But yeah, so I have heard of both things. I personally only use OA. That doesn't mean that it's the perfect thing for everybody.
Mm-hmm. I use Apivar and OA.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing. It's a mixed bag because OA is only good. It's only really as effective as it can be when there is no cap brood in the hive, and if you're only going to do 1 or 2 treatments. And even with doing multiple treatments, multiple days apart, you're only going to get a very high percentage if you are consistent with it, but you're only going to get a percentage of kill, which is enough for me to keep my bees going. But again, I do way more sessions of treatments throughout the year than the normal person does. That's just my take. That's how I do it personally. That doesn't mean it's ideal.
Well, I had an interesting experience actually using your vaporizer with the plate on my Apame hive. I think I told you about it, Rob. I kind of neglected my backyard bees back here, and I kind of treat my backyard almost like a hobbyist. My out yards, I treat more like trying to go semi-commercial or sideliner, but in my backyard, it's kind of like my bee lab. It's kind of where I just mess around with hives and do things, but I neglect them as well because I'm always worried about what's going on elsewhere.
Right.
And so I think, hey, I can just, when I'm home, I can go out and mess with these bees, and I don't. And so I got way behind on treatments back here, and the Apame has the plate in the bottom. It's got the, the plate in the bottom where you can just the bottom, underneath the bottom.
I actually, hold on.
And so it had I had some diatomaceous earth in there for beetles and stuff. I cleaned it out really good, and then I treated with your vaporizer and the plate in the back.
This plate here. So
Yep.
we don't sell these anymore. This was one that I found the other day in our storage place, but so yeah, this is what he's referencing for those that haven't seen it.
But yeah, so I treated, and I had not treated, and I bet there were thousands and thousands of mites that dropped. This is probably end of November, early December. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I decided I was just going to treat every week on the weekend. I don't know if it was exact number of days, it was on the weekend every week until I didn't have a drop anymore. And I think I treated 6 weeks before I had almost no mites. And so the first 2 weeks had thousands. The third week had hundreds for a couple, 3 weeks. And then by the last treatment, I had almost no mite drop. And so I think when people say you need to treat once a week for 3 weeks, it's not effective. Now, obviously the brood break is important down here. We never have a complete brood break, but I'll tell you that by the end of about 6 weeks of doing that every weekend on that bottom tray, now I didn't do an alcohol wash, but I could see the number of mites that dropped, and it was very, very minimal by that last week. Probably just, almost in the entire hive, very few, but there were thousands and thousands of mites that dropped the first couple of times. It was like just sand on the bottom of the bottom plate there. And I know I sent that to you, the tray in the bottom. I saw that.
Wow.
So that's just one thing. I think if people are doing 1 or 2 treatments, I think that oxalic acid will knock them back, but it will not. I watched the video series with Bob Benny and the people at the University of Georgia talking about mite control, really oxalic acid. And they talked about how it is a very effective treatment, but they also talked about how, there's just a lot of really good information there that it's not, doing the typical 2 or 3 treatments a week apart is not gonna, it'll keep the mites kind of in check, but it won't decrease the number of mites in the hive overall. If you do it with brood in the hive, you can kind of keep them at a certain number, but it's not going to take that number way down over unless you do it for a long period of time or you do it during a brood break. So that is critical to know for people.
I think the big thing is monitoring. Yeah. Sorry, Bruce, go ahead.
Yeah. If you're treating in the middle of July, when your hives are full of brood, you're not going to take care of your mite problem. You might kind of stalemate or have it go stagnant a little bit, but you're not going to get rid of the mites. They're not going to decrease greatly because the hives are full of brood then. And so that's not the best time to do it with oxalic acid vapor. I think that's one thing. I saw someone, I think Jeff earlier was talking about in here, Jeff from Austin Creek Apiary was talking about some of the studies that have been done about that. And so that's just something that, just a little test I kind of did, not a scientific thing, just something I did in my backyard. I treated all the hives in my backyard the same times, but that's the one where I could see very quickly, or I could see obviously what was going on. And I did, I'm sure there's brood down here. There's brood in the hives almost year round. And so it's not as much in the wintertime, but there is some brood. And so I'm sure there was some brood in there, but it took a long time to get it really under control.
Rob, I tell you where I like the use of your equipment and the use of Oxalic is during that winter solstice when there is no brood. But we all have a little different context and a different scale too. For what we're doing here at Nature's Image Farm, we're making a lot of nukes, we're making queens. So we're constantly going through brood break cycles. So we have opportunities to hit with oxalic acid where a lot of folks don't throughout the year because we are intentionally going broodless, or there's a queen cell getting ready to hatch. So we are constantly interrupting with, and that's a great time to come in and clean up during those, when you're making those splits and things like that. I think the biggest game changer for us was definitely oxalic acid vaporizing, but where a lot of folks, I think, don't believe in oxalic, a lot of times they're kind of with the how I said the older way of doing this was you did it once a month, or you did it 3 times in a row for once every 7 days, and that's just what we were doing then. And it did help. It did drop mites back, but when they really got out of control, you never caught up, and you had hives crash, and you had deformed wing virus, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So because of that, sometimes folks have a negative connotation with oxalic. But now, what most folks are doing is doing something to actually create a baseline before they treat, use their prescribed treatment, and then follow up with a way to measure that afterwards to see how effective the treatment was or wasn't, and then decide, okay, now what do we do? For instance, that video that we have earlier in the year where it was rubbing alcohol versus Dawn dish soap doing mite washes, that was a great example. If it wasn't for folks asking us on our channel to make a video doing an alcohol wash, we would have probably just thought we were okay where we were at. We had squeaky clean mite washes June and July, and we got into August, and all of a sudden everything exploded. I mean, like gangbusters, out of control explosions. And because we took that video, we seen, oh my gosh, what's going on? And so we had 4 or 5 times of the rate. Exactly. The infestation went through the roof because we had a couple different tools in our toolbox. We were able to use oxalic to at least get all the phoretic mites knocked back, or as many, or at least 80, 70 to 90%, knock those rascals back. But we had to go in with a twofold punch, and then put something in there that created a knockdown for a 7-day period, and we would come back in 3-day intervals with oxalic. So what was great about oxalic is it helped us get in there along with another product to help knock things down. If we would have just relied on Apigard, for instance, by itself, that wouldn't have worked. If I would have just relied on oxalic acid in that instance, that wouldn't have worked. But the great thing is how flexible the Lorobbees unit is it's so easy to use. You can go in and knock things down. And for us, that's how bad things got. We had to go in with a twofold approach, which is not ideal. Definitely not ideal. That can be really hard on them, especially the type of size colonies that these rascals were. But that's I think the most important thing is understanding how oxalic acid works, and then tailoring a plan that fits for exactly where your bees are. And then I know Brian's got a big reveal coming up here, and I wonder if Rob could actually maybe educate folks on how oxalic acid actually works, what it does to the mites to even create a knockdown.
Yeah, so oxalic acid really does essentially a grooming tendency. It's the same thing with there was somebody who called me up recently. I wish I could remember the gentleman's name, but he was saying that they were doing testing with putting sugar on the frames themselves. There was a commercial guy who was sprinkling just pure sugar on the frames, essentially like a sugar roll, but the entire colony. Now, a lot of us don't have time for that. But it was a very interesting find because oxalic acid does about the same. It sticks all over the bees. They start self-grooming. It also kills off the mite itself. And then the bees in their self-grooming take it off of them, and down to the bottom of the hive it goes. But it doesn't go into the cell. So there's a mentality, behind it in itself. I want to get to a couple of these because Bohemia Bees has a really good question that I'd like to get to too after this Time is Honey one.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, so hold on. Yeah.
There we go.
Will living in warmer climates make it harder to treat with oxalic acid? No. I mean, I use OA a lot more than most people would. A lot of people would just say, "Oh, I'm putting strips in." It's just that's easier. While not ideal, it is how I get my bees through the winter. During the springtime, I do a treatment in spring for knockback. I do a lot of treatments late summer. And then I do treatments in winter. So when we're in our broodless time at the 50-degree mark. So I do a lot of treatments and regimen where it works. So you have to be willing to put in the time, and at that, there is no perfect solution for mite treatment. So you have to be able to have a lot of tools in your arsenal to win that battle, and that's the reality. So Bohemia says, in the past, there was 1 or 2 OAV VAPs to pick from. There have been an influx of alternative made OAV VAPs in the past few years. What makes our vaporizer stand out from the other options? So I think of this as a multi-phase question. So I truthfully believe that our quality supersedes what's required for treating for varroa mites. I think that I mean, personally, I really like it. I think the thing is super rugged. That's why I made it. I really went overkill with the whole mindset of it. I enjoy the whole customer service side of it. I enjoy making sure that people have a vaporizer that they can treat. It's a lot of personal investment into it. So when you buy with us, you don't really just like you're not a number like some other companies. Some people are just like, well, you bought from us and that is what it is. Like the number that I put everywhere goes to my cell phone. People can call me, text me anytime. It doesn't matter. I love talking to people. I love making sure that their bees are healthy. To think about, I wish the vaporizers had counters on them at this point so I could tell how many hives are getting treated by our units, because I can only personally have but so many bees in a yard and make a difference in this world. And by us selling vaporizers and providing that service to the bees through the arteries of other beekeepers, we're able to make this huge impact positively in the environment. So we again back our vaporizers with warranties and all kind of stuff. And we really, being a beekeeper, I know if it breaks mid-treatment round and you got 2 days into treating a couple hundred hives, I know you need that thing to run. So then it's like, well, I can expedite your parts out. You can send it back. We'll expedite it back out with the same day or next day turnaround, depending on when it comes in. So it's really so much more than just the vaporizer, even though those that are on the screen have seen it in person, and those in the chats who have, I wanted nothing to go untouched when it came to quality on the unit. And, I think it shows it. There's a lot of YouTube videos that kind of let it speak for itself. I don't play any influence in it. I wanted a unit that would last, and that's what people deserve. Beekeepers deserve good quality products at affordable prices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Edward has one. I've heard OA is less effective in a high humidity. Is that true? I'm going to personally hold off from that one because I don't know. I just don't have that research. I don't want to make any false claims there. If living in warm climate, do treatment in late evening.
Mm.
I mean, it's good.
I actually heard to that comment there. It was in the roundtable setting that when Bob Binney was sitting down with, I think it was the one where he was, Greg, was he at University of Florida? And they were talking about oxalic acid.
It was Georgia, wasn't it?
Georgia.
Yeah, he's been really involved with Georgia.
They had that discussion, and that was one of like the factors that they were talking about. They said, people treat, but what you have to realize is, if you're treating in the middle of the day, you have all your foragers out, you're not hitting all of the bees in the hive. And from what I've read, and whether this is true, whether it, is the best, what I read and from what I understood was to treat very late in the day. That way you have the most amount of bees in that hive. So you're hitting all of those bees. That's just what I have read. And that's typically what I would try and do. I would always try and hit mine, just before dark, really. And for me, being the backyard guy, now like, Greg and Bruce, with the amount of hives they have to treat, it'd be a little bit more difficult. But for the backyard person like me, where you're hitting, a dozen or less with 45 seconds, per treatment, you're easily able to go through in 15, 20 minutes and zap them. So,
Right.
but that's at least what I read. So,
Yeah, I mean that's definitely ideal scenarios. You want to get as close to ideal as you can, but like you said, the with the commercial guys, it's kind of hard sometimes.
yeah.
Time permitting. So there's also, no matter how good whatever oxalic acid treatment you have is, if you get 100% kill and in your mind you have 100% kill, just keep in mind the job is not done. It is
Yep.
a maintenance thing that is ongoing, because just because you are doing your part and treating properly for all might does not mean that there's not either a feral hive that is in a tree next door that's just going crazy with them, or a neighbor who's not doing the correct thing, and you could be right underwater with mites all over again if you put your guard down. So it's very important to maintain good strategies that you can replicate year after year, which is why multiple tools in a bag is not a bad idea.
Mhm.
And be sure to test. That's the
Yep.
Do something to actually create a baseline.
Yeah.
Do your treatments and then follow up to find out, because we get, every single one of us are guilty of a couple things. Confirmation bias is one. Look at that. DJ Barracuda is in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh my gosh.
Man,
Oh my God. And Rob, he's been texting me like, "What are you doing tonight?" And
has
I'm
he?
like,
Is that Dan back there?
That's Dan. He's been in my house.
Oh my goodness.
that is awesome.
Connections you make through this whole thing. Isn't it awesome though?
It all
Really
started in
so.
Hive Life. Everybody has said that
Oh.
like things got weird after Hive Life because everybody got these wonderful connections and amazing, relationships out of it. And this is kind of proof in the pudding.
Wow.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah. That's such a demand.
Look at what's the mug that he's holding there too? Look at that. I mean, nature's
I love it,
images
man. Look at
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like Mugshot Monday on a Wednesday. I
Woo!
love it. Perfect.
I didn't grab mine. Mine's just in the other room over there. I should have had
Come
it.
on, Bruce.
Man,
Oh.
it's like,
Man, the
Bruce,
stream team
it's a
can't even
requirement for the
even
stream
Christmas.
team.
Well,
Look at that
Jeepers.
stainless
I'll
stuff.
rectify that next time. I promise.
well, I tell you what though, he can get by though, because you see the mug that he just held up. So he's representing.
Oh, okay.
Matt and
Himself.
Sarah.
Okay.
That's
I
true.
see that now.
Well, but
That's
Matt and
valid.
Sarah. This is from
he's
Matt and Sarah.
representing the moderator extraordinaire,
That's
Matt
right.
and Sarah. So yeah,
Understood.
yeah.
That's fair. I did not see
Yeah.
the logo on it.
Brian, what do you got there in your hand? You've been dying to open this box up. It's like a unboxing
No,
mail
I've been
call.
trying to prolong it just to watch him sweat. This has been an ongoing thing. He's been texting me about this.
I have had this thing sitting at my place for what, 4 or 5 days now.
Yeah, something like that. And you text me on day one.
I got it, and I know I've been texting him like T-2 days, and I get to open it. T-2 hours, I get to open it. I have to open it up with what, a hive tool?
Is that a Speedo? Is that a Speedo for Dan?
It is.
Well, you know
actually.
what?
No.
Since Dan's on the road, he could grow out that big old Fu Manchu.
Right.
That's it.
Class
I gotta
E.
open this.
Yeah, so you got to use a hive tool. So I got rid of all my knives in the house because we have hive tools everywhere now.
How the heck can I open it? with
So
a hive
that's
tool?
what you got.
Oh, I got it. Oh, one side's open. Oh.
You can thank
Peter.
my shipping department mom, Lori DeLuca. She's in the comments over there. She's the one who packages it all. She's absolutely wonderful. I had to give her a shout out there.
I know.
Oh,
I got another side open. Oh.
That sounded sharp.
Yeah. Hive tools are pretty aggressive.
Look at that. That
I
is
do
nice
like that
looking.
handle.
I like that. That's nice.
That's my fancy one. Ooh.
That's from Kaylee, right? From the Honeystead, that hive tool.
It looks like it, Bruce. That was a honey. Was that a Honeystead from Kaylee, the hive tool there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We're gonna have her on here in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, we're planning on it. That'll be awesome.
Now stop teasing, Brian. What's in the box?
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that.
There it is.
I got one now.
I should have just filled it with like just oxalic acid or something just to mess with you. But but you did buy it on your own accord, so I didn't have time to mess with you. It just went out like normal.
Oh, look at that.
That looks nice, doesn't it?
This.
LaGrange said it's like a 5-year-old on Christmas Day.
I know. I'm like Ralphie when he got the like Red Ryder BB gun.
There you go.
Oh,
well, hey, don't
my
shoot your
gosh.
eye out.
I
Use
tell you
your
what,
PPE.
Yeah. What I want to share with everybody though is this right here. This thing is just solid. I mean,
That was what I was most when I first did my unboxing back in the spring on that video. I was most
Yeah.
impressed with how heavy it was, how heavy duty it was. I think I may have even said that, Rob. It's heavy and it's heavy duty. It's a good
Yeah.
quality
I
machine.
mean, that's what I shot for basically was the solid aluminum base. I like the full one piece. It really works out well. The front piece, the cleat, if you will, makes it so that it stops at the box, so none of the heater element will touch any of your boxes and stuff. So I really like that because it'll kind of hang and you can walk away from it. But yeah, rugged was the big word I was going with when I built them, and that's what we shot for.
Yeah, this thing, I'm telling what, Rob.
I like the handle. The hand, it feels good and balanced in your hand. It's got a nice feel.
Yeah.
You're gonna rub it down with rim oil tonight, Brian, and just coat it down and just put it on a shelf, special shelf, and just. Are you gonna wake up in the middle of the night thinking, "Is my vaporizer thinking about me?" That's probably what you're gonna do, isn't?
I probably am gonna wake up and just walk around the house with it, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to show everybody though, if anyone in here is wondering where to find these, I have his website up right here. It's also going, along the bottom in the banner. Just look that up. As far as ordering this thing, it's just super easy. Rob, like he said, I mean, it's just top notch as far as like the customer service that he provides. Definitely. I mean, if you're, I don't know those that do treat, everybody has their own, regiment, some don't treat with OA yet. If you're looking to move in that direction, I had one of the little teeny wands very first, and I used it once. And I was like,
that's where I started. I started with a wand, and then I got spoiled by using one of these. Well, actually, it was a Jono's unit, and I was like 6 months out of getting a Jono's unit or so in the queue, and then he retired. And by that time, I had made one already because I didn't want to spend more money on the next tier. And yeah, that's where it kind of boiled down to. And I couldn't go back to a wand. I just once you see the difference, I have so many. That's really the fulfilling part is people are like, Rob, you made this easy now. I'm not lazy when it comes to my bees, but if it's easy, I'm more inclined to do it often and when you need it. And that's what I like about OA. You don't have to crack boxes. You don't have to anything. You just kind of plug it in the back of the hive. You treat your bees. You got to monitor them and all that, but Brian's going to make a holster.
Brian's going to make a holster for it. Nice.
I could.
Bruce has a great video of exactly how Bruce uses the Lorobbees vaporizer. If you check out the video there on Bruce's bees, and there's about a 35-minute video with Rob that we did a sit-down interview and a little breakdown too. So if you want to see specifically how to use that, check out Bruce's channel too. Those are great, and I'm sure Brian, now that he's got a new toy, he's going to be out there treating his bees in February.
Tim.
It's probably too cold now. 3 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever it is there. It's probably a little cold now, isn't it?
Yeah,
might be a little
it's
cold.
cold here. We got Tim here is teasing.
Tim's trying to get you a sauna.
Yeah.
I just have the funnest time bugging them about the weather because you guys are freezing up there. Matt sent me something today saying it was -19 up in Minnesota. I'm like, well, we're down here. I mean, we're chilly,
Man.
but my gosh, I mean, I
Hmm.
don't
Matt
know
and
how you
Sarah, I
survive
saw
that.
them growing just now pulling out greens and stuff out of their hoop
They
hut
are.
greenhouse. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
They were in it for a
We're at-
long time
We're
still.
at 48 degrees Fahrenheit right now, so
Hmm.
that's just to
No
let
one
y'all
likes a
see.
bragger, Bruce. Come on now. You could be out treating your bees right now.
I could
Right
be,
now,
but
Bruce.
most of
Exactly.
mine are just getting to California right now.
How's that feel, Bruce? Does that feel good to have that just on the road? I mean, they're there
Yes.
by now, but yeah.
Oh gosh, yuck.
Bohemia.
Yes,
Ask the
I
question, so I will see what I can do. I feel like I have to set the bar high for whatever vendor you
Oh.
have on here. You know, aside from me being the beekeeper that we all know and love, but I feel like I have to set the bar high where like people, you know, get some value out of it when they join.
We should set up a decipher code. You can go to Lorobbees.com and get a decipher code, and you bring it back, and then go through all the things to get the discount code, and just use discount code Ovaltine to save 17%.
I like Ovaltine.
Come on, you guys act like you've never seen A Christmas Story.
This seriously, I know. I just said, I'm like, I felt like, I sat on Santa's lap. I saw Rob at the conference, and I'm like, man, I looked at it, and I saw the Red Ryder BB gun sitting there on the table. And I've been talking about it, and boom, here it is. I got my Red Ryder BB gun right here.
Nice. Ho,
right.
ho, ho.
So,
Uh,
so Greg, I took you up on it.
what?
I took you up on it.
What's
So,
that?
your Ovaltine comment.
You
I
gotta
was
be
trying
kidding me.
to think of a code name thing. I'm not good at this. I just like my bees. So anyway, and I like what you guys do. I like this. This is what the beekeeping community needs: is getting people together to share like-minded opinions that are non-biased and to get the reality out there. And you guys do that. You do it on your separate channels. You do it together. So the least I can do is show my support. And that I appreciate what you guys do as content creators and all the people in the comments. It's quite impressive. So anyway, that being said, the code name is Ovaltine.
I tell you what, if you want,
and it is for 17%.
Oh my gosh,
God.
what a guy!
And you're welcome.
That is
because
awesome.
of Greg. Now,
oh man, good
you have
job,
leverage. Rob. You have leverage for every other vendor that comes on here.
That's right. Rob, 17%.
Your viewers deserve it. Your viewers deserve it.
Rob, throw that if you want to throw that in the private chat.
Yeah.
And then I'll just throw that. I'll just throw that. I can even throw that in the ticker across the bottom if you want me to.
Would that be good?
So,
just while the live stream is going.
Yes, that is something good to note.
Yeah,
that ends like this evening. That is for the stream team / Oval team.
All right.
For this evening, I just want
there
to
we
throw
go.
that out.
Everybody.
Thank you, Greg.
Exclusive.
This is an exclusive stream team while the stream is live.
That we didn't even talk about. This was not even planned, so we're just doing it. I can't do these all the time, but I like investing in you guys. I really value what you do, and you guys make a difference here. And
that's why Lorobbees is top. They're not only do they has a great product, but they actually care about beekeepers. They want to see everyone keep their bees. And there's customer service like none other. You can call them. You can get any kind of help that you need. Try to use it as a chalk for your truck. Try to go swimming with it. See what he says.
Yeah,
there's the happy.
You didn't hear that from me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, I've probably been with Rob as far as I bought my first one back in the spring, I think. What was that?
Yeah,
March,
it had to be the spring. Yeah,
it was one of the first
ones.
It was early on, right after you started, and I just Rob has been nothing but good as far as I'm concerned. Every issue I've had, every question I've had, I can call him. like he said, that is his cell phone he has on his website and stuff. He'll answer. He'll help you out any way he can.
That's great. Oval
You're welcome,
team,
Greg.
17%. That is sweet.
All
Look at
right.
that.
So
That's
so
too fun.
everybody, we have an exclusive discount right here. It is the
Look, it was a great idea. I had to go along with it. You know,
It's-
it was a
it's-
little more than I'm comfortable with.
it's-
We really don't have.
Is
great
Lori
marketing
back
on
there
these,
just rolling
but
her eyes, just pulling her
I
head?
had to
What
do
in
it.
the world?
She's
Oh,
not in the
are you
room.
guys doing?
She's downstairs. So like
got
I'm getting
these-
text messages,
gonna
but
hear
I have
about
it
that.
off, so it'll
You're going
be
to hear
fine.
about it.
wow.
We got to keep this thing rolling for a while so people have longer to
Yeah.
order
I'm
this
telling
thing.
you, I know.
Well, on that note, time to get Rob off the. It's been real, Rob.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Rob's like, all right, everybody. I mean, this has been awesome. Love
Yeah.
talking to you, but I gotta, I mean, it's nice outside. I'm gonna go swimming.
Well, we got a bunch of
Oh,
folks
man.
jumping on here. We got Yappy himself is on here. Hey, Yappy. I saw Jason Chrisman jumped on. Hey, JC.
Bohemia is in the bottom. Oval team. I don't know if it was right, but I thought that's what Greg said, so I went with that. So
Oval team.
Well, this is
That's
the
right.
stream team, so it's
Yeah.
oval team.
Oval team.
I like
TEAM.
it. I like it.
Rob, what's new for this coming spring for you? What are you guys getting into?
So it's funny you should ask that.
Uh-oh.
I actually bought some nukes from you out in Ohio. So it's like 7 or 8 hours worth of driving, and it is worth it. So I'm making that drive for nukes. I want your genetics. I've heard crazy things about those bees. So we're making the drive, and I think it's worth it. And you know, everybody I've talked to has loved your bees, and I want to see that for myself. So I'm making the drive.
Where's this pickup happening?
I don't know yet. I just bought them, and it
Nature's
was like, Greg, I'll
Image
find
Farm.
you.
Is it going to be at your place where there used to not be a wall and then now there is a wall?
It's all this is all brought to you by Brian Coper. Brian helped us build the wall, and he did it. He even brought the donuts. I mean, it was just what a guy. So what,
I mean, hey,
what we might
I'll
do?
bring the donuts, Greg. I mean, I can bring donuts. That's okay.
I think we might put a little shindig together. If you're gonna come out, Brian will come out. We'll get
I'll bring
some of
donuts.
the Ohio crew
Yeah.
to come out. We'll do a little. One thing that we're doing a little different, and it's customer service. I think is something that if any of you have spent time with some of the big guys, the big players, they're just it's failing miserably, and that hurts beekeepers because we only have so many choices, so many places to go do these kind of things. So I'm happy to work with Lorobbees and use those vaporizers. They're awesome. But here's the kind of guy that Rob is. Rob not only I've purchased vaporizers from Rob, and what does Rob in return do? He supports those that support him. It's an old school way of doing it. So Rob bought 6 nukes, and we're happy to get those genetics to them. And a way that we're doing the same or something similar with our customers, folks that buy packages or nukes from us, they're going to have exclusive access to hands-on learning in our learning yard this year, and we can show everybody from a small nuke all the way up to 8-frame, 10-frame, horizontal hive, Apame hive, 4-way pallet. You get the whole gamut. You can come learn at your speed, see what it's all about.
Yes.
And I think creating that kind of a customer service is huge, So I appreciate what you guys are doing there, Rob, and really going out of your way to take care of your customers. That's a huge thing. And I appreciate you coming 7 or 8 hours to pick up some nukes and get those genetics, but I'm telling you, it'll be worth it.
The reality is I am, while we do sell vaporizers, and that is the reality here, I am a beekeeper at heart, and I got into bees to see bees be successful. And I'm a hard believer in as long as there is business around bees in general, that we won't have extinction problems and all those kind of things that people feared. So by building businesses and supporting those like Greg who have these businesses and are rearing and making positive impacts, especially the content creators here, like that's what you need to do. You need to support those guys. You need to share their content because they're the ones who are teaching the next generation. So we won't have an age gap, so be it down the road. We're going to have a lot of success. So for me personally, it's very fulfilling to be able to kind of give back because I learned to beekeep through YouTube. So it was people like yourself who were the ones who taught me to get into bees. So I see like JC's Bees is in here. Like I followed
Mhm.
him forever now,
Yeah.
and I love his content. I really do like what he does, and I've been working with him for quite a bit now, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity, along with a lot of others. So it's really about a self fulfillment thing. It comes off as like pushy for the business stuff, but it's really just my way of helping everyone that I can get a code to. The people who have bought tonight, like those are that many more bees that I get to feel like I play a part in keeping healthy. So it's a personal fulfillment thing. I don't know, but I like seeing people keep their bees healthy. It's just that's my mentality on it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, those that did order this unit here,
Well, those people, I hear some dinging going on.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to get one of your favorite.
Hey, Anil, so and Greg, NKY honeybees there, when we stopped at, I forget, what was it, whatever gas station we stopped at in northern Kentucky,
Oh yeah,
just a little south of
Florence, just a little
Florence.
south of
Yep.
Florence. Yeah.
NKY honeybees actually lives in Florence. So
Oh,
I had told him, I said, if you get any, I mean, you're literally, I think the Flying J you said is one of your stops. He literally is like 10 minutes away from there.
yeah, definitely. If you're interested in those NKY, I wish I had your full name, or maybe you're hiding from the law. You don't want that on there. I can kind of
Anil.
appreciate that. Anil. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're our first load will be exclusively available at the farm in Zanesville, and that'll be about April 12th. And then around April 25th and 26th is when we'll be delivering all across the state of Ohio, including there's like a Florence and Cincinnati pickup too. So if you are interested, definitely reach out. We're at the time where we're filling up the orders, getting everything ready to go. And so if there's something that we can do for you, definitely reach out. And if you do that,
Come
you're
here.
welcome to come to the
Come
farm
here.
anytime.
Just peek your face.
Uh-oh.
Come here. There she
There
is.
she
There's the
is.
shipping part. Oh,
She's gonna
I promised her that I
Oh.
would not get her on here, but I
she's
did
gonna
it.
she's gonna kill me, Rob. We took some footage with Rob and Lori and what's your buddy
Wow.
who was helping you there. We got the camera going,
Okay.
and they like peel off to the side, and so I've got
Yeah.
Jake running the camera, and I say, Jake, here's the brains of the outfit, and had him put it right on Miss Lori. Oh boy, did she love that. Boy, she made me pay for that one later.
She is
Beehaven just ordered mine. Appreciate
such a
that, Beehaven.
drive behind this
That's great.
operation.
Yeah.
She was doing the gardening side. I decided like I needed to contribute. Bees were kind of my contribution, and then bees led me into so much more than just that. So that's why it's Lorob Bees. It's Lori and Rob. Like I literally couldn't do this without her. It's in my grandfather's shop. My grandfather had a business called Loran Steel. It was his two kids, so we kind of played homage to that. He's down working on all the vaporizers all the time, so it's a blast. It is every bit of a ma and pop shop. There's no question about that, and it's a lot of fun. I love every minute of it. I love conversing with everybody.
Well, I can say,
I could go
Rob,
on all night about it.
You guys are the type of folks that there's a lot of good people out there, but Rob and Lori are the kind of folks that you want to sit down with, have a cup of coffee, you can cut up, you can be yourself. They're just good, solid people.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a blessing to be able to build relationships with those folks,
Yeah.
not only personal, but business as well. That's huge. Building those kind of relationships that are meaningful, that are mutually beneficial. That's huge. It's a big thing. And we could all be doing probably a little bit better of job of supporting all each other there. I did see Hillbilly Beekeeping's signed in there. I'm real proud of him. He did a great. He got his YouTube channel off the ground. I love seeing him burn the frames, and gave us a shout out. So we heard that. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I like what he's doing, because he's when he was talking about burning the frames, that's something that they've done in the mountains there for decades and decades and decades. He was talking about, I think, gum trees, some wild honey, things like that. That's cool. I think I'm happy that he shared that, and really that's the kind of thing that you know, all of us want to be a lighthouse and try to help folks out, especially if you're trying to start a channel. You know, whatever we can do to help support folks like that, I think is important. You know, that rising tide definitely lifts all ships, and so it's cool. So I'm excited to see how his channel grows, and he's got a cool, fun style with it. So and there's a lot of great guys on here too. Be Original Tim, Tennessee Tim, he's got a great channel.
Mhm.
Taylor Boys, Bob Walker Bee Ranch,
Yeah.
of course, Bohemia Bees, Castle Grounds. I know Jeff Lawson. Where's he at? Lawson
He was in
Creek.
here. Yeah. Yep.
And there's so many. Matt and Sarah. I mean, what's so fun is this entire comment thread is filled with incredible folks who are just digging in, creating content, and just sharing their experience. I think that's what makes everything so awesome. You don't have to be the 200,000 subscriber channel to put content out. You can literally have 4 subscribers and put content out, and people are going to see it. They're going to support it. And it's like we talked about in that last interview with Bruce and Jose. You know, every little shape and size piece of the puzzle makes it the beautiful picture that it is. You know, if we were all, you know, 200,000 or 1 million subscriber channels, it would all look like that. Yeah, and if it was, then we would have never had Hillbilly Beekeeping or our channel or Castle or Bruce or Rob's or anybody. So that's just, you know, it's cool.
I'd love to piggyback on that for 1 second, because there's a piece that really inspired me recently, so I just want to kind of share it with your audience. At my local bee clubs, I'm part of a handful of them. I go to one in particular. We'll have about maybe 20 or 30 people turn up right now because of COVID and such. And from what I've heard, that's a pretty decent turnout for a regular crowd for a bee club, especially in this area where like we just don't have a lot of agriculture. It's just the nature of the beast. And if people make videos and they consider video a flop sometimes if it only gets like 50 or 100 views. But I just want to keep in perspective there that your normal bee club only has 20 or 30 people viewing it at a time, those discussions. So every video you make has crazy leverage, and it's helping somebody somewhere have a different perspective. So it's all valued. It's all worth it. And yeah, it's awesome. I think YouTube's a great tool. I'll be the first one to say it. And yeah, just keep that part up. If you do have our vaporizer, you know, or anything like that, I try to post all kind of tips and that kind of thing pertaining to our units on our YouTube channel. I try and do a lot of updates and that kind of thing on there. So if you're looking for any like, hey Rob, it's doing this, or hey, I wish I could do this with it, it's likely on there. And if it's not, let me know, because I try and make things as visual as I can, as well as paper documented, so people have multiple sources. But I'm a very kinetic learner, so watching videos helps me, and I hope it helps other people. Also, Greg has seen this prototype. I don't know if Brian saw it, but I guess we should talk about the up and coming. We are working on a second unit that will treat through the front entrance. The catch with that is, because I hate when you buy a vaporizer or anything in this world, and a company goes, hey, you bought Model A, but now you got to buy Model B because, well, you bought Model A and it's not compatible. So basically, I think, and I should have grabbed it for the conference, so excuse that, but basically the stem, and I'll have a whole video out on it here soon, especially with us having this discussion now. So I'll get something in the works very soon. We just don't have them in production. That's why they're not on the site. But it has a bigger stem. It comes down through where the aluminum plate would be. It's got a notch out of it. And we're going to sell an upgrade kit. So if people are handy, they can essentially replace just the copper bowl. We'll give them new washers and stuff just in case something acts up. And all you would have to do is be able to notch this with a Dremel, a hacksaw. For some people, it's easy. For some people, it's not. I completely understand. We may work a deal with people to upgrade them or swap them over. I like treating through the back of the hive. So, like, this is my personal happy place. But at the end of the day, like, I get a lot of requests to be able to treat through the front of that hive. So that's why we will have that in the future. You know, we're working with Greg on some solutions for 4-way pallets, for a clip or something in that regard. But we're not there just yet. I want to get the front entrance going, and then I want to make some sort of adapter where we can find the sweet spot for those 4 ways.
That's why you guys are awesome, because you care, but more importantly, you actually are listening to your customer feedback, and rather than just saying, fill out a comment card and put it in that comment box way over there, and we'll have someone take a look at the box once every 6. No, Rob welcomes constructive criticism, and that's what I really appreciate about them. Is we said, hey, this is a fantastic unit. This is how we're using it. What about this, boom, 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 and then we'll start turning and say, hey, you know what? I think we can have a solution for that. There's a lot of other companies that I'm not going to mention that are in this arena. They're not going to do that for you. There's a lot of other bigger outfits that sell supplies. They're not going to do that for you. They're going to say, well, this is what we have. Everyone doesn't have a problem with it, so too bad. Not Lorobbees. That's huge. Whether it's a vaporizer or any other piece of equipment, that's what I love about these guys, is they listen and they welcome feedback from their customers. And at the end of the day, all they want to do is see you do well with that piece of equipment, and that's awesome.
Yeah. So it really just stems from our roots. I'm just one beekeeper trying to help out other people, and I was gifted this artery where I can do it. And that's why you having a unit that you're not happy with, you're not happy with the unit, you're not going to treat your bees. That means that was counterproductive. You just put money into something that you're not going to use. That sucks. So I want you to be able to use what you purchase from us. So that's why we work with everybody to make sure you have a good product. So here, Rob, do you have the derivative programmed, or is it just PI? We do have the derivative programmed, so it does learn, it does fluctuate to a certain degree. It's not by a crazy mark. I haven't looked at it in a while. We haven't pre-programmed now, but I was doing them all by hand, as was my mom, who helps us build them. She does the whole outfit with me. So yes, they are in there. Rob, I want a 4-gram unit. I use 2 vaporizers at a time. So this would probably be a good thing to chat about a little bit. So the label right now is at 2 grams, technically. I do have, I'm aware of the environment. I'm aware that people are wanting to go to, higher dosages and such. The label is currently the 2 grams. So, if people choose to go higher and treat twice, that's where we're at currently. Am I looking at solutions? Yes. I'm not crazy on it right now because the label technically does not allude to that. There are 2 potential solutions. One of them is a bigger cap, which will take a lot, and I'm not sure that it would really work in that regard. A taller cap that would have a bigger, surface area on the inside, a bowl, if you will, because the cap is essentially how we measure the dose. Or we could do a wider diameter, bowl and heater element. So I've done some testing, and I ordered way too big. But the problem with going with a wider diameter is that it just wouldn't work. So I went like crazy big. I mean, like this, like to Greg's point, like I listened to people's thoughts. You can see how big I've thought about going. Okay, I've got like a bag of these. But then it's like, how many grams do you really need? So I'm just kind of waiting for things to come out formal. We are ready to make that step. I don't know if this will not fit on the original vaporizer, as far as I know, unless we come up with something that screws on the front. But I don't want to make things like rigged. I want it to be correct. So I don't know. We are aware in that category.
How many grams fit in a full cap?
2 grams leveled off, not packed. So it comes with a little scoop, but the scoop is really just so you don't use your teaspoon like I did. I just kind of scrapped a teaspoon, and it is the oxalic acid spoon in my bag. But we do have spoons now that, they're not ideal. I get it. I wish they were a little deeper and a little less of a diameter. But the cap is the technical measurement there. Hi. Okay. I'll let you. See you, dude. All right, he's rolling.
See you guys.
I'll
See you, DJ Barracuda.
DJ Barracuda. It came out. He was betting that somebody was gonna say that. He was like, "Great's gonna call me that. Great's gonna call me that." How much
Houston
are the
Shelton, how
mugs?
much are the mugs? So here's the thing, hey Houston, he's a great guy. He's down towards Corbin, Kentucky. We've seen him when we haul bees and stuff back up. The mugs actually they're not for sale. So there's only one. There's only two ways to get the mug. The mug that you'll see that Brian has, that Bruce has, that Rob has.
This
well,
one.
that one.
This one.
So those ones are those are if you do a sit down interview with us, that's the mug you get. So I know Jason Crispin was on. Him and I are talking about doing an in person. Brian has sat down with us. Bruce has. It's just it's a way. It's like our gang sign, I guess. That's how. That's the only way to get it is that you get in the gang and that's the cup. These other ones were from Hive Life that we had made up just as free giveaways, just for folks to say thanks for stopping by our booth. So I appreciate you folks wanting those. I really do, and we try to make them special. Look at that.
I didn't know you sponsored that. That's really cool. I didn't get a chance to walk to the table.
You know, I was going to, but some Yahoo sponsored the lanyards, and it was like it was all that was left.
That same Yahoo may have claimed them for next year too, because I really like them. Oh, and I did the same. I'm trying to work the deal for the same thing in Nebraska and West Virginia, where we will be going. I don't know if you've mentioned that to people yet.
Stream Team Flare.
Stream Team Flare. That's that's cool. We are going to be, a lot of us are going to be getting together again here soon, March 5th in Lincoln, Nebraska, for the Hives for Heroes conference. There's going to be awesome vendors there again. I know Rob will be there. We're trying to talk Castle into quitting his job and just going on tour with us. Just like the Grateful Dead. We're just going to start touring the country, just hitting up conferences and talking about bees and recording podcasts. That'd be a lot of fun. I'm doing that, but it's Hives for Heroes. It's a great organization that's doing tremendous positive things for the mental and physical well-being of our veterans, and they're doing it in a way that's actually helping our bees too. And so we are honored and humbled to be a part of that. We'll be speaking there along with Bob Benny, Ian Stepler, Matt Lance, Buzz Vance. It's going to be Kevin Monfelt and his wife Julie, if they're listening. They've been doing a tremendous job of trying to orchestrate all this kind of thing, and it's no easy task to do. So I want to say thanks to Julie, to Kevin, also Steve Jimenez with Hives for Heroes, for making this available in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's a way to bring a lot of great speakers to an area of the country that has a lot of veterans that really do. There's a lot that we could be doing. We can do a lot better job, I think, for our veterans too. Help support them, their families, and all that. At the same time, it supports positive beekeeping. So that's a huge thing. For more information, you can go to Hives for Heroes. You can go to Eventbrite, just Eventbrite, and just put in Hives for Heroes along in there. And you can check out exactly what's going on. There's going to be giveaways, donations. It's going to be a great time. Great vendors, including, like I said, Rob from Lorobbees. There's going to be a lot of folks there. It's going to be a good time. I think I saw Beekeeping Like a Girl, Chris and Don and Natalie. I think they're all going to be there too. So it's going to be fun. It's just going to be an awesome, fun time, jam-packed with a lot of great information, great vendors. And it's really turning out to be, it's like a homecoming. Every time we get together, it's just like a big family get together. And it's so awesome. Walker Bee Ranch signed up for a mentorship. That's awesome, Bob. That's what Hives for Heroes needs. That's what we all need in our local community, our local bee clubs, is step up to the plate and be a mentor. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have 100 hives. If you have experience with beekeeping that you can help somebody along the way, that's what it's about. It's not about being a beekeeper. It's about being your brother's keeper. And I think there's a lot of opportunities that we could all be doing a lot better with. So check that out. Time is Honey. There's a lot of folks on here that are veterans and also mentoring through the Hives for Heroes program. So I want to say thanks to all you guys too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, Greg. I am going to try. I need to shoot off an email tomorrow. I just have to see. I got to see if it'll work. If I can't get there, on site, then I definitely will try and work with them. And if they want to do something, maybe
Maybe
over
do a
like a
stream or something.
stream. Yeah, I'll definitely. I mean, if I can't get there personally, I'll definitely set up some time on that Saturday where I can do some type of stream
That'd be
just
cool.
to benefit
We're going to
that
do a
organization.
roundtable with some of the speakers and also the vendors, I think, is what we're trying to work out currently, and do a live stream with that. So that would be an awesome way to have you involved because you're so good with these type things. The other option is I can send you an email that you can send to your job, and it just says Brian Coper's 2-week notice, just going on the road. We'll get Bruce to quit too. It'll just be the stream team.
I wish I could.
The stream team tour. We'll just.
There you go.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh man.
That'd be
You're
awesome.
funny.
It'd be fun.
Are you still
funny.
thinking about getting down to West Virginia?
I am. They're
following weekend?
trying to figure out exactly the size setups there. I want to make sure we can do a good
They
job.
said
in
they've got a ton of space, so they have
Okay.
me. I think it was either 2 or 3 tables, and they were like, "Oh yeah, tons of space." Like, let Greg know we got them. Like, tons of space. I was like, "Okay." Like,
Yeah, we're working it out. We want to be there, and it'd be fun to. It'll be like Greg and Rob travels the country, just
That
hawking their beewares.
that location there, Rob, is I looked it up. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes from where I live.
Nice.
So,
Morgantown,
Nice.
I think, is where that one's
yeah,
at.
it's Morgan.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
in Morgantown.
very close.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep, so that'd be cool. Someone asked, time is honey. Greg, can I email you let's see if it's going too quick. Greg, can I email you a link for the class to post here? I don't know that there's a class for Hives for Heroes, but if you want to email me anything, you certainly can at naturesimagefarm at
I think
gmail.com.
they do have classes. I've seen people
There's
with
two
completion.
there's two separate organizations. One is based on education. One is based on hands-on. So there's
I
actually
see.
two separate similar language. They both do great work for veterans. So maybe that's the class. There's also the main thing with Hives for Heroes is signing up as a mentor and making yourself available. They'll help pair you with a mentee, go through a little bit of a vetting process, make sure that it's a good fit, a good match. So there's a lot of fantastic opportunities there too.
Let me ask you this, because you seem like you're a little more involved in the mentor-mentee process there. Do you have to live in Nebraska to become a mentor?
No, so Hives for Heroes is a national outfit. They have people set up in every state, and you can reach out to Hives for Heroes, and they will help plug you in to where everything's happening. So no matter what state that you're in, you go to Hives for Heroes. They will help you get plugged in. Look at Bruce. It's official, man.
Nice.
Look at that.
There it is.
Yeah, and Bruce, that you had to earn that. We sat down, man. That was I think that was night 1 at the Hive Life conference, and we were just all of us absolutely exhausted, wore out. Bruce is unloading trucks, setting up tables, getting everyone doing all their thing. Bruce is one of those. If you ever get the opportunity to hang out with Bruce in person, he is as cool of a dude as he seems on here. He is in person. He's a hard worker. He's the kind of guy that a lot of us want to be, where he's the first one in, last one out. That says a lot about his character. And so here we are, late night, first night. It had to have been we closed the restaurant down. They kicked us out at about 10 o'clock. So we got in there about 9:30, 9 o'clock, and sat down with Bruce and Jose to talk about content creating and just beekeeping a little bit, and just how we can all support each other in this kind of a movement. So Bruce, he's put in the work, and so he sat down all exhausted and put the time in, did the interview, and so that's our gang sign. Is the official double-sided coffee cup.
I'll scratch you through. I got a little bit of vitamin C in here, so
yeah.
Good.
And Brian, we've got a fun one with Brian too. Actually, we've got just, I wish, this is the time of year where all of us are trying to edit videos, trying to get stuff out, trying to work on sales, marketing, website, all the computer stuff. So as soon as the grass springs green and the buds start to blossom on the maple trees, we can just devote every ounce to being outside and working the bees. But we also have we have a whole separate set of interview stuff that was just from Hive Life, that were little collaboration chats at our booth. Brian's he gets in on that too. We walked by, talked with Rob too. It's pretty cool. Hillbilly Beekeeping says I'm gonna have to watch this again. I can't read and listen at the same time. Well, I know that's true. I can't even talk and walk,
Yeah.
and definitely can't chew bubble gum at the same time. Matter of fact, my wife called earlier, and she was like, "Hey, can you season up the beef and get this and get that?" And she gave me this list of things, and I called her back like 5 minutes later, and I said, "What was that again?" And this, no, just can't. I'm not a real good multitasker. Matt and Sarah, I know we thank them,
They
but we
are
can't really thank them
they're
enough. They are
incredible.
just
Awesome.
absolute rock stars. They're back behind the scenes, thumping trolls, keeping things clean, putting all the links in, help supporting everybody. If you all could go over to their channel on YouTube, Matt and Sarah, like, subscribe, send them some love too. They're doing a fantastic
Yep.
job. I really do appreciate them. And I still need to get with them and get one of those sweet tumblers. I'm not in that gang yet, Bruce.
You just
I
got to
need
order
to.
one. Send them your logo, and they'll do it for you. I'm
Boom,
sure.
done. Well, what
That's
else is new,
awesome.
guys? We're about we're an hour and 20 minutes into this thing, Rob. What else?
So,
Is there anything else you want to get off your chest or admit to, or those kind of things? Confession. This is your confession, Rob.
confession.
Right.
Wow. Man, this is a lot of spotlight there, Greg. I don't Wow. No, but I'm pretty good. I did see that Brian joined the Apame group, which is really cool. So I should probably go off on a little Apame treating with OA tangent now that we don't have adapter plates. So Korhan and I over at Apame USA have been trying to come up with a solution to permanently make all new Apame boxes able to treat with OA.
Oh wow.
My hang up is being the guy that I am with how we run our shop is I need a solution that will backdate also. So I need people to be able to use that on their original boxes, So my proposal to him was something to do with a bottom board like what we did, but steel prices like tripled. And I'd rather discontinue them than buy them at triple the price when we already were making almost nothing because I had to outsource them. We just don't have the quality equipment to get that precise to make them work as they should, every one of them. So to triple the price on it was unrealistic, and I there was no need to charge people that extra fee. I was like, we'll work together, we'll figure it out. We have the patents for it. So Korhan was like, well, he didn't want to get in that gray area, and I was like, no, it was I got it to advance his and I's relationship to get that fixed, to find a solution. So at the conference, actually, we kind of talked and opened the door to like, hey, let's find something that works, but let's make it this mutual thing where we kind of, because my customers want to be able to treat, they want to be able to use Apame hives, but they'd like our vaporizer, and his customers like their hives, but like our vaporizer and can't use it because they're plastic hives. And because they have patents on their hives, I know they won't change the design or what have you. So we've got all kind of experimenting going and that kind of thing. I've had a couple experiments here recently. One didn't go as good as I had thought, but he's working on the molds itself to make a permanent solution in those boxes. It could take a year or two. I don't know what those molds entail. I know they're extremely expensive, but the fact that he is aware of it and wanted to pull me aside to have that conversation to see how we can advance that for his customers just says a lot about him as well, and the message that he puts out that he's aware. They have the Swiss Army knife of beehives, as far as I'm concerned. Not everybody can have everyone as a Apame because there is a dollar mark with them. But if you weigh in all the features, it is well worth it, in my opinion, especially if you're in a northern climate and you have to insulate your hives over winter, or you choose to insulate your hives over winter. That there's a lot of pros and cons to it, but one of the pieces that I would like to see, because I consider it the Swiss Army knife, is being able to treat the bees using our vaporizer on any of those hives and backdate, so everybody has that ability, because it should be like your right to be able to have healthy bees. That's the way I take it. So we're working with them. They are out of stock. I don't plan at this point to bring them back into stock. I know I get that question a lot about the adapter plates. But that's because we're looking on a way more for a way more affordable solution for those Apame hives. So just something to kind of spread out there for those that were curious about them.
Well, we got what, 6 minutes until we hit 9:30. Is that going to be our Oval Team 17% off Lorobbees Vaporizer cutoff?
Might
I keep
be.
hearing his phone go ding, 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 ding. So
Yeah,
he's just like,
I mean,
I gotta,
when we click the button, that's when we're gonna close it. I
I
may
gotta,
give us a little grace period for those that have issues checking out, but that's just my nature.
yeah. How I gotta
That is a
ask,
full hive.
how many have come through? I'm just curious.
17.
I can look. Hold on.
There had
17.
to have been. There had to have been 6, 7. Had to have.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, it was something like that. Let me see here.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Bruce, Bryant, any final thoughts or any plugs? What's going on with your channels or anything
Yeah, so it's
new?
something like that, like 8 or so, which is incredible.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
That is
cool.
awesome.
We're just getting the pollination thing kind of wrapped up. I'm going to try and get a video put together of the last stage of that we did this past weekend. They're actually, just a little update. Excuse me a sec. My friend that we're doing it with texted me yesterday and said they were in New Mexico this morning. He texted and said they actually crossed the California line and they have been inspected and passed inspection.
Oh, that is
And they're
awesome.
probably actually there arriving, I guess probably about now. They said this evening they'd be arriving actually in the spot where they're going. And so that's kind of what we're dealing with. And now I'm going to try to kind of step back and figure out what to do with the bees that are left behind and just kind of where to go from here. But I'm trying to get a video put together, hopefully in the next few days of this past weekend. I got a lot of footage, probably too much, as always happens. So now I got to figure out how to really try and get it in maybe 8 or 10 minutes video.
I enjoyed
that's
seeing
what's
what you
going on with the
shared
channel.
there. That not many folks get to see what a truck full of bees looks like, let alone how they're staged, how they're
Yeah.
loaded. So I think it's cool that you've brought folks along all the way from building them up, balancing them out, getting them into new pallets, getting them to the holding yard, loading them up. That's a cool thing for folks to share, and I appreciate you doing that.
The holding yard and truck loading will be the next video, but I want people to understand that I'm a very, very small fish in a very, very huge lake. And so I've got 48 on that truck that have 408 colonies on it. So, but it's just kind of fun sharing it, and hopefully I'll be bigger, be able to grow a little bit, but I don't know if I'll ever get to the point to where I can, not working full time in a different job, get to where I can fill a whole truck myself, but we can continue to, we've got a little partnership down here that's working well right now. And I've just got my 48 on there, and they were strong. If you saw my last video I actually published, they're looking good. And so it was crazy. I did post, I should have done a short on it, but I did post to my Facebook page. Just the guy where the holding yard was, he walked down, the whole truckload of bees were there Saturday or Monday morning. They came in early Monday morning, besides mine went Saturday, and then theirs came in Monday. They were all there stacked up in stacks of 3 or 4 high. And he walked along them and just held his camera up and just walked along them. And the bees, it was warm enough. The bees were flying. It was just it was crazy. You guys probably saw that. It was just the buzzing and the sound and the noise. And there's just no way to actually, you just can't, unless you actually experience that, you can't, there's no way to know what that's like. But I'm trying to do the best I can to kind of share what I'm doing the best way, and without the smells and actually feeling it and hearing it in person. There's no way to really know. That's what I think we're all trying to do, is share, our experience the best we can. Matt and Sarah asked, do you ever go full time with the bees? I would love to, Matt, but I don't know physically if I'll be able to. It's a big, I'm just not, I don't know if I'm brave enough to jump off and do it full time. I know Greg's done it. But I'm just not quite there yet. I hope I can retire from my real job at a point where I'm still strong enough physically to do the bees, and then we'll go from there. But Warren's Life asks 48 hives or 48 skids. I assume you mean pallets. 48 total hives, so just 12 pallets. Warren's Life, that's all. It's not a lot, but it's, we'll see what. Every year I've sent just a few more, and I was going to try to send 80 to 100 this year, but I lost a bunch, and so I just, I got 48. I think probably overall the strongest I've ever sent. And once again, just remember, I'm very small time in this thing, but it's been fun.
Well, Bruce is very humble. 48 colonies is nothing to take lightly. It's nothing easy to get 48 colonies. Not only are queen right, not only that look good, but 48 that will grade on good equipment. You know, that's 10% of that entire load. That is nothing to take lightly. That's a huge accomplishment, Bruce. It really
Yeah,
is, and
people,
it's good, heck of experience to be able to share with folks.
if people just stay tuned, I think hopefully it'll turn into a good video. What I've got coming up, it's going to be hopefully a similar style video as the last one I did, but just the next step in the process. And so I haven't even started downloading or uploading footage yet. Yesterday was recovery day. We were out there till like midnight. I didn't go until midnight on Monday night. And so, you know, I haven't even looked at the footage yet, but I think I got some pretty good footage. We'll see how it turns out.
Well, you wore me out just watching you get all those colonies ready. If anyone has worked single and a halves or 4-ways like that at all, I mean, even with the fancy loader that he has, the hand loader, the hand truck, that is just an enormous amount of work. Bruce is a tall guy too. If you're tall, it's even worse when you're bending over, flipping lids, moving frames around, it is a lot. And
yes, beekeeping is a lot of work. People don't realize that you don't just
lot.
stick some bees in a box and harvest honey. It's more to it than that for sure.
Brian, what about you? What are you up to? What's coming up on the horizon for you?
Well, I got to dig out the hives for one. Coming up on the horizon, I tell you what, once we get through this winter, I am really looking forward to the spring. I'm going to get that Apame nuke going. You know, I'm going to hit my mark. I got to decide whether it's just going to be 10 or 12. I'm going to stay that backyard person. But it's probably going to more lean towards the 12 mark just because the equipment that I have, I've got the double nuke setups. I've got that Apame 7, framer now. So I can pull off frames with cells and just get colonies rolling. And that's my plan. That'll be my plan. I know I've been saying I'm going to graft, and that's coming up. My initial plan in the spring is pull off those frames that have the cells, and I'm going to get those colonies going. And then once I hit my mark, where 10 or 12, whichever it'll be, then I'm going to try my hand with the grafting. Those that do know me, you'll see me show every little detail. So, and that's what I do. I just want to share my beekeeping so that everybody sees every little trick that I try, see every failure, so that way we can learn all together. So, but that's the big thing this year. I'm going to get to the point where I want to be and then learn those other techniques, grafting and just working with these, other nukes and constantly learning in beekeeping, man.
That's
So,
cool. I
yeah.
see. Who are you repping on your shirt there?
This is actually it is
Bar Run Forge.
Bar
Nice.
Run
Cool
Forge.
logo.
So those that don't know Bar Run Forge, he does metalworking. And I believe his name's Troy. There's Troy and Eli. He lives actually down near Cincinnati. I believe he's a pastor, though, also. And he'll do live streams literally making, hooks and all this stuff. I mean, it's so cool. But the hooks actually I have in my, like, bee room or whatever it is where I hang my jackets are hooks that Troy made on one of his live streams. So, yeah, he's
I remember that.
a pretty cool guy. Yeah.
Yep, I remember you
That's
showing
awesome.
That's cool.
So,
That is
and
really cool.
I will say one thing though, and getting on the grafting, and we could go down another 2.5 hour long talk about that, but that one right down there, I got a point so that you can see it. I got a tip that I'm going to use when I start. And this was just Hive Life conversation when I was talking to Rob, a tip that he gave me for when I'm going to start, and I'll end up texting him because I'll have to get the amount right. But he said just put a little teeny dab, and Do you do it, Rob, on like a toothpick, or what do you use? You know what I'm talking about.
So I actually went on Amazon and got like syringes, like not like medical syringes, but they're for like feeding small animals or whatever.
Okay.
And I know I'm lagging. I fill it with
Yeah.
honey, and I put not even a drop, just like a trace in the bottom of it. And maybe it was just coincidence. Again, I experiment a lot with my bees. I always
Mhm.
suggest people do figure out what works for them. But I went from struggling years. I was struggling and struggling and struggling to I was getting really good results grafting. And it was something that, like, when you graft, you know you either got it or you didn't. You can kind of tell when you leave the cell. You feel confident or you don't. And there were just some where I was like, I don't know. And to my surprise, after doing that, they would actually have fixed it. So the honey piece, it's kind of like over polishing, I guess. So I use the JCB's cups. I put a little bit in each one, put it in the cell builder beforehand. The day before I pull it, when I pull it out, there's nothing left in there, and then I start my grafting.
It's like perfectly suspenseful because you keep stopping and glitching right when we're saying the little thing. Everyone's like, what was
right?
You'll have to tune into Brian's channel and see the video on exactly what he's talking about. Stay tuned.
Yeah. I am gonna try that though. I am.
Yeah, I'm watching it spike, but I didn't reboot it because I'm like, we're about to end, but like I'm watching it spike. I gotta get a new.
All those orders are coming in. It's just blowing up your CPU. Those orders are just bang 17%, 17%, 17%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought that was just classic.
We have them in stock, so if things lagging on me. We have them in stock, so.
Rob, any last thoughts or anything else you want to get out there before we close her down?
No, I'm just very fortunate for what we have. Blessed every day.
But it's great working with you and with your whole family. It's awesome to know that there are so many choices out there when it comes to beekeeping equipment. When you have a choice and you can choose to support Made in the USA and a family-owned and operated small business, that's huge. And it's the kind of things that are mutually beneficial. And so I appreciate you guys, all the things that you guys are doing with your products, with your YouTube channel, but more importantly, for just being good people and helping folks out. That's what I appreciate the most about you. So thanks.
Yeah, man. Yep. Likewise.
Yeah. Well, great chat, man. Rob, this has been awesome. So yeah, look forward to this year. And if I don't see you in I
appreciate the opportunity.
Oh man, this has been awesome. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to definitely do it again, plan it again. But I'm sure our paths are gonna cross again, West Virginia or Zanesville, Ohio. Somewhere. So, but now we started out though, with fancy like kind of explosions and all this stuff. See, the numbers were all look at Greg down here. He's like, what?
But wait, there's more. Where is this going, Brian?
But wait, there's more because we have Rob in here, fantastic company. We can't just say, all right, everybody, we're done, and then I click this end broadcast thing. So
what?
Just because Rob is on here and he is a great guy, I got an ending for everyone else.
Wait, do we need to do the National Lampoons thing? Where we're supposed to plug everything in. It's like drum roll.
I'm not going to be able to beat this. I'm not going to be able to beat this.
Drum roll, please. Come on.
Come on, Bruce. Go, Bruce. All right, everybody. Y'all take care. Here you go. Enjoy this.
All right.
Nice.
Y'all take care. Have a nice. Have
Awesome,
a.
guys.
That
too,
was
man. Have a
awesome.
good one.
We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye bye.
Good one.